Good morning. Welcome to my front porch in Oklahoma. I've been home quite a while this trip, and it feels good. But I've got a lot of places to go. This is just kind of a reprieve, a little break for me. But I'm trying to stay busy while I'm taking this little break from the road. A lot of things going on and a lot of people to see, and I'm still getting out, but I'm able to sleep in my own bed every night. That's nice. But it's a beautiful day. There's a nice breeze, and I trust that you've been having a good week and that you realize the faithfulness of God. In a time when everything around us is shakeable, the Bible speaks in one place that says that everything that can be shaken will be shaken. And we are definitely living in a time when things are shaking. But in a time when we are living in a shakeable situation, in a shaking world, aren't you glad this morning for an unshakable God, a never failing God? I'm telling you, my heart is overwhelmed this morning, excuse me, with the goodness of God and with His faithfulness. We had such a tremendous service at church last night. Great testimonies and of what God is doing and the healings that are going on right now. You know, I'm thankful for all the healings and miracles of the past. I've experienced them in my life, in the lives of my children. In my ministry, I've seen miracles. But I'm thankful for what God is doing right now. A few weeks ago, I ministered in Alvarado, Texas, on You're the Now Generation. And I think that's important for you and I to realize. He's the same yesterday. He's the same forever. But that word right there in the middle, today. He's the same yesterday, today, and forever. That's what really gets a hold of me right now, is He's a God of today. And I'm thankful that He's a God of the past, that He's the same yesterday. I'm thankful for the assurance that He'll be the same tomorrow. But I'm living in today. This is the right now generation. And I'm so thankful for the faithfulness of God today. My heart has been kind of, I don't know what the word is to use really. Troubled maybe, about the day that we live, this today, and the attitude of individuals today. You know, I go lots of churches, lots of different churches. And one thing that I see in each of those churches when I go back is that many times, I won't say always, but many times when I go back to a church that I've ministered to in the past, there's not as many people as there used to be. Thank God for those churches that are growing, that are working, that are out there, and they're seeking, that they're going into the highways and the byways, and they're compelling them to come in. I'm thankful for that. But the biggest story that I see is more churches that I go to. When I go back, there's not as many people as there used to be. Why is that? I mean, we could attribute it to many, many things. Before I read my scripture, I want to share with you an allegory from C.S. Lewis's Screwtape Letters. And it's called The Council of the Devils in Hell. And this is what I want to share with you, because I believe this is one of the factors of why when I go back to a church, many times there's not as many people as there was the last time I was there. An allegory is either meant to stretch out a story or shorten it. But this one goes like this. Satan had learned of a large spiritual revival in a community. Oh, wouldn't that be wonderful? I would love for the devil to get stirred up over a revival in Chelsea, Veneta, Claremore, Pryor, and in my home church. I would like for the devil to get stirred up, and I believe he's doing that. I believe the devil is starting to get nervous. I want to make the devil nervous. Oh, yes. Because if I can make the devil nervous, then I know that we are doing something for the Lord. So, C.S. Lewis tells this little story to make a very important note. He said Satan had learned of a large revival in a community. So he convened a council of devils to determine the best step to derail this awakening. 3 devils spoke up with a plan. The first said, "We'll simply whisper in their ear that there is no God." Satan looked at him skeptically, saying, "They would never believe that. There's too much beauty on earth. They would simply look at the mountains and the sky, the seas and the forest, and know that he exists." That just won't work. The second devil then spoke up. "We'll whisper in their ear there is no hell." Again, Satan shook his head side to side. They'll never buy it. They'll remember the most evil of men over time, and know that those men aren't going to heaven. There must be a place of punishment. The devils were becoming frustrated when a third blurted out, "Let's tell them they have plenty of time." "That's it," proclaimed Satan. "Go spread the word to all mankind." Wow. Do you see that today? That's just an allegory. That's just an example, a story, to try to drive home a point that C.S. Lewis wrote about. But we're seeing it today. We're seeing it today. I've talked to my loved ones that are young. I've got some grandchildren that have drifted away from the Lord, far away from Him. And I've sat and talked to them. And I've said, "Grandma doesn't want to see you lost." And one in particular has told me more than one time, "I will not be lost. God will give me time, and I'll come back before it's too late." How many people have said that? How many people have left the church house and said, I'll be back? Was it Felix, I believe, that told Paul, I'll send for you another time, at a more convenient time. Almost thou persuadest me to be a Christian. My heart is heavy this morning for young people and old people that have the mentality that Satan has slipped into their mind. You've got plenty of time. Sure, you want to be saved. And you're going to be saved. But you don't have to do it right now. You've got plenty of time. That thinking was brought on by a statement that was made in the last few days. And it was a statement that basically said, it's time for world peace. It's time for the world to achieve perfect peace. Let me read to you what Thessalonians says in chapter 5. But of the times and the seasons, brethren, ye have no need that I write unto you. For yourselves know perfectly that the day of the Lord so cometh as a thief in the night. For when they shall say, peace and safety, then sudden destruction cometh upon them, as travail upon a woman with child, and they shall not escape. But ye, brethren, are not in darkness, that that day shall overtake you as a thief. Ye are all children of light, and the children of the day. We are not of the night, nor of darkness. Therefore let us not sleep as do others, but let us watch and be sober. For they that sleep, sleep in the night, and they that be drunken are drunken in the night. But let us, who are of the day, be sober, putting on the breastplate of faith and love, for a helmet, the hope of salvation. What's he saying? When they begin to cry, peace and safety, then sudden destruction shall come upon them. What's he saying? There's not going to be any worldwide peace until Jesus comes again. Oh, if the world could only grasp where we are today. I believe we are staring the coming of the Lord right in the face. I remember when I was about 17, I might have been 18, 17 somewhere. I took some courses at Joplin Business College. I remember Mrs. Beal. She was the owner of Joplin Business College. She later became the mayor of Joplin, Lena Beal. But at that time, she was the owner of the business college. And so I took some courses there, not knowing really what I was going to do in my life. Trying to, equip myself in somehow. I wasn't 18 yet, so I must have been 17. And there was an instructor there. His name was Gary Adams. And, you know me, I preached to everybody. And one day, Mr. Adams and I were talking, and how in the world the end time, we're talking 50, 55, 65, 70, 53 years ago, something like that. It's a long time ago. Somehow we got on, I began to testify to him. I began to talk to him about the coming of the Lord. It was on a break. He was sitting at his desk and we were talking. And he was probably at that time in his late 40s. He might have been early 50s. I'm just looking back and trying to remember what he looked like. And he said, let me tell you something. He said, I have heard all of my life about the coming of the Lord. My grandma talked about it when I was a little boy. I've heard about the coming of the Lord all of my life. And look, he hasn't come yet. I'm not worried about it. And I looked at him and I said, Mr. Adams, just be patient with us a little while. They called us Bible toters. Be patient with us Bible toters a little while longer. Let us do our spill. I was just a young girl, 17. Just be patient with us. If I get a little excited about talking about the coming of the Lord, just be patient with me. Because one day, you won't hear it anymore. One day, it'll be a reality. I don't know why this chorus just rolled in my mind. I'm going to keep on preaching till he comes, till he comes. There's nothing in this world worth turning around to see. My eyes are on the prize that's awaiting in the by and by. And I'm going to keep on preaching till he comes. I can't remember the rest of it. But there is a job to be done. If you believe that we are on the brink of worldwide peace, then I can tell you assuredly, without a doubt in my mind, that you are looking at the coming of the Lord. That's powerful. If you believe there's a man or men living today that can bring about worldwide peace, then I can tell you without a promise, if there is living a man today that can bring about worldwide peace, then I can tell you with assuredness, we are staring at the coming of the Lord. Because there'll be no peace till Jesus comes again. That's why this little allegory that C.S. Lewis wrote, when he said, let's tell them they have plenty of time. Whew. So subtle, yet so powerful. And a major warning to you and I, that when we, the church, buy in to the thought process, that we've got plenty of time. Time's just about run out. That's a pretty good sign. That's a pretty good signal that when someone says, I've got plenty of time, their time has just about run out. I don't want to slip into that comfort area, that comfort zone of thinking I have plenty of time. I've said this several times. I believe that we should make plans as if we were going to live forever. You said that is contrary to what you just said. Listen to me. Make plans as if you're going to live forever. But live as if today is your last day. I sat in church last night at the end of the service after we had such a wonderful, wonderful service last night. The power of God was so prevalent and so strong, and folks were rejoicing and testifying and giving God honor and God praise. And we came into the altar and rededicated our lives and just reconsecrated our lives to the Lord for His service. And when I sat down in the front pew. Some folks were still praying, some were getting up. I don't know why, but it just came across me. Lord, I don't have plenty of time. You say, sure, you don't. You're almost 71 years old. I buried my children's father at 42. I buried my father when he was 50. I buried a brother when he was 47. I buried a niece and a nephew, both in their early 40s. I buried a great niece as an infant. I watched the burial of my cousin's 1-year-old little boy who seemed to be so healthy that she woke up one morning and reached over to pat him and he was cold. At 1 year old, from SIDS, sudden infant death syndrome. All ages. I've stood by the casket of a 17-year-old young woman that had been part of our youth group, who had rebelled against her family, against the church, against God. Taken out in a horrible accident. I've walked through cemeteries and read the gravestones from infant to well over 100 years old. Can I tell you today, you don't have plenty of time. The church does not have plenty of time. But be assured of this one thing. Thessalonians. Hang on. I want to tell you exactly where it's at. Actually, no, that's not it. Luke, not Thessalonians. That's why I wanted to look it up. Luke says, in Luke chapter 21, I'm going to read it starting with verse 25. And there shall be signs in the sun and the moon and in the stars, and upon the earth distress of nations with perplexity, the sea and the waves roaring. Men's hearts failing them for fear, and for looking after those things which are coming on the earth, for the powers of heaven shall be shaken. And then shall they see the Son of Man coming in a cloud with power and great glory. And when these things begin to come to pass, then look up and lift up your heads, for your redemption draweth nigh. You don't have plenty of time. Look at the world situation today. They're crying for peace and safety. But I can assure you, the peacemaker is about to make his appearance. And it's not in a man here on earth. There'll be a man on earth who says, I can obtain world peace for you. He's called the Antichrist. But there'll be no peace, not real peace, till Jesus comes again. And you don't have plenty of time. God bless you. The sun is right in my eyes. And you know what I want? I want the sun right in my heart. God bless you. Have a great day. You'll just have to check back on Tuesday and see where we're at on Tuesday. Could be here. Could be somewhere else. I don't know. It could be in glory. I might not be here come Tuesday, because I don't have plenty of time. But I'm going to work while it's day, for the night cometh when no man shall work. God bless you. Have a great day in Jesus. Lift up your head, because your redemption draweth nigh.